Hi, grade nines. Well, let's take a look at this lesson. Today we're going to work on lesson 6.2, and we're going to take a look at solving equations where we have variables on both sides of the equation. But before we get started, let's remember that in an equation, there's always two sides. We have the left side and the right side. Now, because there's an equal sign right here, that tells us that the left side is equal to the right side. So if we think in terms of a balance, that means the left side has to balance the right side. So now we're going to try and solve this equation. But what I want you to remember is are the two rules that we use for solving equations. We do the opposite of what's happening to the variable, and what we do to one side, you do to the other. Now if you notice this equation, you've got a variable here, 6x, and a variable 4x on that side. So one on the left side and one on the right side. So what we want to do is we want to bring our variables together. So that means I'm going to take the 4x, bring it from the right side to the left side. So how do we do that? So in order to get rid of the 4x from the right side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract it from here. Why am I going to subtract it? Well, because this is a plus 4x, and the opposite of a plus 4x is a minus 4x. So remember the rule. So if I get rid of this here by subtracting 4x, that means on this side, on the left side, I've got to subtract 4x as well. So now let's go back to the right side. Because these are opposites, they're going to cancel out. So I no longer have a 4x here because I moved it to the left side. So if I simplify on the left side, 6x minus 4x, well, that gives me 2x. Now the rest of the equation that I have left, I've got 2x plus 2 on the right side, on the left side, and on the right side, I just have 10. Now we should remember what to do in this equation. So I want to isolate the variable, but before I do, I want to get rid of this plus 2. Okay, so how do I get rid of the plus 2? Well, I do the opposite. So if it's a plus 2, then I just simply go minus 2. So if I subtract it from one side, I got to subtract it from the other side. So now remember, these are opposites, so they're going to cancel out. So now, and I'll simplify the right side, and I have 10 minus 2, which is 8. And I still have my equal sign. And then on the left side, I have 2x. So now my equation is 2x is equal to 8. All I simply have to do now, we should remember this because we learned this already. I'm going to divide this side by 2. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. 2's here cancel out, leaves me with x. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. And so now I figured out my answer. X is equal to 4. Okay. Now the next step that we have got to do is we got to verify. So how do I verify? Well, I'm going to rewrite my equation. But remember what we said. We said that x is equal to 4. Let me go to a different page here. Here's my equation. Put my v for verifying. And what we said before, we said that x is equal to 4, because that's what we solved previously. So now, looking at this equation, because I have my equal sign, I'm going to write a line under the equal sign. And we've got to get the two sides to equal each other. So on this side here, I'm going to put in 4 for x. And write the rest of the equation, or the expression here. 6 times 4, well, that's 24, plus 2 is 26. So on the left side, I have 26. Left side, 26. Let's go to the right side now. On the right side, I've got 10, and I put 4 in for x. So we got 4, and in place of x, I'm going to put 4. So now I have 4 times 4. 4 times 4, well, that's 16. And I still have my plus 10. 10 plus 16 is 26. Well, look at that. So now, my left side and my right side are equal. So both sides are equal. that means that this answer, x equals 4, is the right answer. Okay. So hopefully that wasn't too difficult. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to send you guys another video. We're going to take a look at a couple other examples. I'll send that in a video a little bit later. But let's see if I can send you guys right now another example. Okay, let's do this example. Now it says using algebra tiles, but I don't have my algebra tiles with me, and I don't think you guys either. But we're going to just remember the process. If you can't see the equation, well, the equation is negative 3c plus 7 equals 2c minus 8. So we're going to follow the same process that we did before. Okay, so if you notice, I've got a negative 3c here and a 2c over here. So all I'm simply going to do is I want to bring my variables together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2c, bring it over here. Now, remember, we have to do the opposite now. So if this is a plus 2c, it's positive 2c, the opposite of a plus 2c or a positive 2c is a negative 2c or simply a minus 2c. And then I'm going to write the rest of the equation. I've got a minus 8 over here. Now because these are opposite to each other, well, they just simply cancel out. So remember, what I do to one side, I do to the other. If on this side I subtracted a 2c, well then on the left side, I've got to subtract 2c as well. Now I still have a plus 7 here. I can write that plus 7. Okay, and now we'll just simplify. So now a negative 3c minus 2c, if we remember how we add and subtract integers, well, this will end up being a negative 5c. My rest of the equation is now 5c, negative 5c plus 7 is equal to a negative 8. Same thing like we did before. We follow the process. Now I have this 7. I want to get rid of this 7 because I want my variable to be by itself. I'm still working on isolating it. So we can get rid of the 7 first by moving it to the other side. How do I do that? Well, I do the opposite. So the opposite of a plus 7 is a minus 7. I'll write the rest of the equation over here. So if I minus 7 on the left side, I've got a minus 7 on the right side. And I know these ones are going to cancel out because they're opposite. So on the left side now, all I'm left with is with a negative 5c. And now on the right side, I'm going to end up with a negative 15. So now we should remember what to do with this kind of an equation. I have a negative 5c is equal to a negative 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this side by negative 5. Remember the rule, what I do to one side, do to the other. On this side, I divide by negative 5. So negative 5 divided by negative 5, well, they're opposite. I'm going to end up with a positive, and so it's just going to be c, and this is going to equal to negative 3. And there's our answer. Now, we can do a verify. Okay, so if we remember our answer, c is equal to negative 3. Okay, and we can verify it, and remember the left side should equal the right side. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there. I'm going to do another example, but I'm going to do that in another video. I'll send that in a moment.